welcome. I'm Dr. Shiwei Wang, Chair and Professor of Computer Science at NEIU. I also serve as the Chair of the Faculty Senate and Faculty Assembly of the University. It's wonderful to see all of you here today for our annual NETT Day event. This is a signature event of the College of Business and Technology and the Department of Computer Science. Now, let me ask you the question. Do you all know what NETT actually stands for? It's NEIU Empowerment Through Technology. Okay, so I just want to make sure everybody knows what that one is. So 16 years ago, okay, Department of Computer Science and the College of Business came together to create this NETT Day. That's in 2010. This one-day event reflects our long tradition of bringing together people from industry and academia to share insights on how technology can empower and support people. It also lays the foundation of today's College of Business and Technology. Now, with the rapid rise of artificial intelligence, I know we're talking about AI. Everybody's talking about AI today, right? And we know that AI is already part of our life. But I want to say it doesn't really matter if you used AI or not. We know AI is already making significant impact on everybody's life. So that's why this year our sessions focus on technology and AI and their transformative power in business.
Hello everyone, welcome to NETT Day 16. I have a great speaker here. Let's give a big round of applause for Fidel Guzman, one of our amazing alumni and a global learning and development leader. Fidel is the manager of internal training at ION Group, where he's helped thousands of employees build their skills, grow their confidence, and advance their careers. He is passionate about coaching, public speaking, and creating inclusive workplaces, and he brings incredible energy and purpose to every room he's in. We are so proud to welcome him back to campus. Please join me in celebrating Fidel here.
Thank you very much for that really wonderful introduction. First of all, how is everyone doing today? Can I get a go Eagles? Woo! There you go. I know it's been a long day. There's been lots of sessions. Lots of great information has been presented to you. But I want to start by gauging the audience that we have here today. By a show of hands, how many of you once started a project? This could be a work project. Okay, hold on. Let me finish the question. But how many of you once started a work project, a school project, that looked like clear sailing, smooth waters, and out of nowhere turned into a thunderstorm of tasks and responsibilities? By a show of hands. Good. Almost 100%. And for the folks that didn't raise their hand, if you're too shy or if you haven't come across this, I promise you will come across this in either your educational or your professional career. So with that said, welcome to this session. The session is From Chaos to Completion, Project Management Essentials. I was already given let me change this right here. Great. So I was already given a brief introduction, but I definitely want to echo that I am a proud NEIU double alumnus. I came here for my bachelor's in business management and marketing, and I fell in love with the community, with the faculty, and with all the resources that were provided to me. I was so happy I came back again, and I got my master's in business administration. I hold a few titles, such as manager of internal training at ION Group. My primary focus is product and industry training. I'm also the VP of Education for our corporate Toastmasters club. Throughout this session, you're going to see how passionate I am about public speaking and how much I really want to echo and resonate that with all of you. I'm also a recent founder of Hero Consulting Group, where my primary focus is sales enablement, public speaking, and team building workshops. I'll also throw in a fun fact on there. just to make this a bit more personable and you can relate to me a little bit more. I was a mixed martial arts instructor at an elementary school on the south side of Chicago for over 3 years. I taught kindergartners all the way through 8th grade, some of the basics in boxing, kickboxing, judo, and jiu-jitsu. So if you ever want to talk martial arts, I can definitely talk your ear off. So with that, let's take a look at the session and what we're going to be reviewing today. There are some common themes that I'm going to highlight. The first one is going to be collaboration and tools. Having understanding, sorry, let me keep going here. Yeah, great. So collaboration and tools, really having an understanding of cross-functional frameworks and technology that you can use to really enhance teamwork. Now, technology is great, but at the end of the day, these are human-to-human interactions that you're going to have. We're going to take a look at some fintech case studies. So coming right out, graduating right out of Northeastern Illinois University, my first job was at Backstop Group. And Backstop was a financial tech company for the investment space. I'm going to give you some real-life case studies so we can review them together. As a note, I do want this to be a very interactive session. We're going to have discussions around the end, and I'm also going to have some Q&As throughout. Yep, so interactive learning. Some other common themes I want to highlight is cross-functional collaboration. This is a really fancy word for saying you're going to be working with a lot of teams throughout different industries that you're in. Now, I'm going to give a couple little examples, like sales teams that you're going to work with, product teams, marketing teams, client care, you name it. But keep this little term in your back pocket. Tech tools for you to understand the usage and benefits of different platforms. Even though you're in a financial tech company, you're going to be using other pieces of technology to help augment your teamwork and how you're going to collaborate across these different teams. Also practical project strategies. Things to keep in mind to help you accelerate each of the projects that you're going to be working on. Okay, try to move to the next one. Great. So cross-team, collaboration frameworks. These are a few that I really want to start to set the seed with. Is roles-based perspectives. I mentioned you're going to be working with different teams across this fintech industry. Roles-based perspectives is really a way for you to understand how different projects are going to entail different people, and really understanding each of their roles. So if you're a project manager, you're going to be working with somebody in sales, you're going to be working with someone in product, you're going to be working with someone in client care, and really understanding their responsibilities, their bandwidth, their strengths, and their weaknesses is really going to help you understand how you're going to come to the finish line with that project. RACI matrix definition. You probably have heard this in some of your textbooks. If not, jot this down. The RACI matrix, as well as the stakeholder mapping, is a really great visual representation of tasks, responsibilities, power, and influence of stakeholders you're going to deal with. Now, all of these frameworks are really there to make sure that there's a lot of team cohesion, that you're going to reduce misunderstandings, that you're really going to increase the level of communication that you have throughout that project, and to really streamline workflows across those departments. All right, so let's get into the first one here, which is roles-based perspectives. In the case studies that we're going to go through, these are the teams that are going to be included on here. We're going to have the sales teams. Now, the highlight that I want to focus here is what are the responsibilities of each of these people? So for sales, if you know anybody in sales, you know that their main goal is, I want to talk to these prospects. I want to show them the value of the product or service that we have. And most importantly, I want them to sign on the dotted line. That's their primary focus. That's their responsibility. That's the only thing that they care about. Then we have product teams. Product teams are primarily focused in what are we creating? How are we making it more efficient? How are we really tailoring this particular product that we have to the industry that we're serving? Then you also have the client services team. Their main goal is to be the front line for any product issues or client inquiries and requests. And your role as a project manager is to really balance the priorities that you have, foster empathy with each of their responsibilities. If you have a project, you're going to be leaning in on these people, but you have to be conscious, again, right? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? What are they good at? What are their responsibilities? And what's their bandwidth? Can I really depend on this person to accomplish and help me resolve this issue? We're going to keep things going here. So this is an example of a RACI matrix. I first started using this as, I read it in a textbook, I didn't think anything of it, but when you actually have a tangible project in front of you, you have to visualize it. You have to say, what are the tasks that are required in order to complete this project, and who should be involved within that task? RACI is an acronym that stands for Responsible, Accountable, Consulted, and Informed. So here in this chart, we see that we have our list of tasks all the way to the far left. We have the people that are going to be included within this project all the way to the very top. And here we have it color coordinated. Who's going to be accountable, who's responsible, who should be consulted on this particular task, and who should be informed. For me, I was a little reluctant to share this with the team. I almost use this as a jump-off point for me and my projects. Great, I have this project. What does it really mean? How can I break it down to really make it digestible? To have each of these be little steps that are going to get us closer to the finish line. So keep this in mind. This is a really great tool. And then we also have your stakeholder mapping. So with this one, it's an access on power and influence. Another great visual representation on who do we need to keep satisfied, who do we need to manage closely, who needs to monitor this particular task, and then who needs to be kept informed. The main goal for this is to identify all the parties that are being involved and to ensure the project goals are shared and understood. And I think that's one thing I can continue to echo, is that transparency and communication is going to be really key in order for these projects to be successful. All right, and then for our next slide here, best practices for project success. We're gonna get into the tech stuff in a little bit, but I really want to focus on these best practices. Clear outcomes and metrics. The question here that you wanna ask, like if someone is giving you a project, if you're being designated, the question is, what does success look like? And I often had difficulty even just asking that question to the CFO, to the CEO, right? Because it kind of puts a little bit of pressure on you. But I guarantee if you ask this question, it makes that goal, that finish line, much more realistic. They're saying, hey, if this project is successful, we need X, Y, Z. Great. How can I start to break that down so I get closer to X, Y, Z? So make sure you understand what the clear outcomes and the metrics are of your project. Maintain momentum. It's really easy to come up with an idea. It's really easy to say, oh yeah, we're gonna work on this, we're gonna do that. But really finishing that idea, making it real, requires a little bit of momentum. So with this one, if you have a team of 3, team of 4, team of 5, whatever the case might be, and you have a deadline, let's say it's 3 months or 6 months down the line, you wanna make sure that you have a frequency of meetings, whether it's weekly, whether it's bi-weekly, whether it's monthly. You want to make sure that you're assigning tasks and that you're holding people accountable to those tasks. So main takeaway here is make sure that you have a frequency of meetings to maintain momentum. Flexibility, planning, and adaptation. Things are going to happen. Life happens. Someone's going to get sick. Someone's going to get married. Someone's going to have a baby. Someone's going to find a new job. Right? These are all things that are going to happen. You're going to relieve yourself from a lot of stress if you have an adaptive mindset. If someone is no longer on your team, instead of thinking what you can't control refocus and think about what you can control. This is going to save you a lot of time and a lot of headaches. So, main takeaways here is have clear outcomes. What does success look like? What is XYZ that I need? Maintain momentum. What can we do to keep us moving towards that trajectory, towards that finish line? And flexible planning and adaptation. Remain flexible, remain adaptive. If life happens, move with it, not against it. Now we'll get into the technology portion of project management. So what I'm going to highlight here is some tools that you're going to find useful that are going to really allow some communication and centralization of information. So the first one that I have for you is going to be, all right, so let's do a quick overview first. The RACI matrix allowed us to keep an eye on what tasks need to be accomplished. Well, we need some place to be able to track all of those tasks. The one that we use at our company was called Jira. Now, Jira was great because it allowed us a little bit of flexibility. It allowed us to put timelines. It allowed us to put stakeholders and people responsible. If there were notifications, people would receive notifications. And we'll go into it a little bit more. Documenting with Confluence. Confluence, the term we would use a lot with our organization is that it's our internal Wikipedia. If we want to document an internal process, or if we want to document the progress of a project, we would use Confluence to be able to track all of that granular information. And then we have client data management. Earlier, I mentioned sales teams, I mentioned product teams, I mentioned client care teams. A lot of the client-related data needs to be housed somewhere. So that's where a CRM platform is going to really help you understand all that data and make it central. Enhancing collaboration. Now these tools are going to promote transparency, accountability, and real-time communication across all the teams that you're going to interact with. And we'll take a look at Jira a little bit and some of the structures that are available within Jira. So with Jira, the one that our team would use the most was the tasks. What task? So we've understand the roles and responsibilities of everybody. We've started to use the RACI matrix to understand those tasks and those people. How do we then start to outline that and make sure that these tasks get completed? So we would use Jira to be able to track those tasks, and if there were subtasks, we would be able to use it. Some other options for Jira is bugs. So our client services team would get calls from clients, hey, this part of the system isn't working. Great. How do we share that knowledge with our product team? Well, we're going to create a bug. We're going to make this transparent. If there are subtasks, that'll be up to the product team to do. And what I also liked about Jira is that you can create your own channels. So if there's something you want to create, there's a bit of configurability on there. Main takeaway, the theme for Jira is task and ticket tracking. We'll keep going here. Great. I mentioned Confluence. This is an internal Wikipedia. So if you really want to get granular with all the information that you want to provide across teams, this is going to be really important. So the combination of these tools is really what's key. So we have our RACI matrix, we have our roles and responsibilities, we have our Jira to track all this information, and then we also have our Confluence to be able to track exactly what an internal process looks like. You can even create a checklist, you can create links to other documents, but think of this as your internal Wikipedia for your organization or for your team. What I also really liked about Confluence is that each team can create their own space. So if the sales team has an internal process that you need to be aware about, they'll create a Confluence page in order for you to be able to view that. And then we mentioned a CRM platform. Well, I'm sure we've all heard of Salesforce at one time or another. Salesforce does a really good job of tracking who are our clients and prospects, what's their information, what's their email, where are they located. Also tracking activity. When's the last time we had a meeting with them? Or a call. What was that meeting or that call about? And connecting all of these different tech tools is really going to help with the project management success. So I mentioned I'm going to break for a couple Q&As. I gave you a lot of information. So I'm going to open it up to Q&A and see what questions you have so far on either those collaboration frameworks that I provided, the best practices across building momentum, and also the tech tools that I took note of. Pause here for a moment, open it up to any questions. Then hold on, we're gonna see if we get a mic. And if we could just have that mic on the, on there.
Yeah, if people want to get up.
Yes, yeah. I mentioned I'm passionate about public speaking. If you have a question, I want you to be confident in your question. I want you to use this as a safe space to be able to be confident and ask and let your voice be heard.
As there are many tech tools that we are using, like Jira, Salesforce, and there are many tools, right? So how do you manage to work on multiple tools, or the company use one tool and every company use different tools, or they are using bundle of tools? Because sometimes it's really confusing to gather information from different kind of tools. So it's easier if they have every machine in one tool or technology and whatsoever.
That's a common problem with most companies, especially when different teams are using different tools. The one thing that worked for us is that right off the bat, we called this our tech stack. And this is a common phrase that you'll hear a lot in the tech space is, what does your tech stack look like? Also a really good buzzword for your interview, right? If I'm being onboarded, what does my tech stack for onboarding look like? If I'm in this role, what does the tech stack for this look like? And that really allows you to get a lens into the different offerings that they have. What worked, so I did on the onboarding for my organization, and what I would do to help minimize the amount of mental and clutter on someone's browser is hey, bookmark these 3 main items that we use, which would be Jira, which would be Confluence, which would be Salesforce. If there are other tools, great, maybe have a different file folder so you can save those under, but keep these first ones in mind. So I think that the emphasis and highlight on particular tools and the theme of those tools is important. For example, Jira, I mentioned task tracking. Confluence, I mentioned internal Wikipedia. Internal processes, how are we denoting what that looks like? CRM data, where are we tracking all of our prospects and clients? Salesforce. So it should become second nature for you as you're going through that onboarding process to ask the right questions, but to also get in those systems and start to use them.
So company do
I think Mike a little closer.
So company do train employees over that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the onboarding team will show you the tools and how they work. If there's time, we'll actually walk you through each of those systems. But also, if let's say you're in sales, you'll primarily use Salesforce. If you're in product, you'll primarily use Confluence. If you're tracking bugs in the system as a client service representative, you'll primarily use Jira for some of those. So it's also based on your role, which is a really good segue into the roles-based perspective. Understand the people that you're working with, understand their profession, and understand what their day-to-day activities look like. As a project manager, if I know there's a sales guy in here, I'm going to know for a fact he's going to know the client in and out. He's going to know exactly what the use case was. If I talk to the product guy, I know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. He's going to be able to tell me that. If I talk to the client service rep, he's going to tell me, hey, these are common questions that we get regarding the functionality of the system. So again, right, roles-based perspective, understand who you're working with. Each product is gonna, each platform is gonna have a particular theme that's gonna resonate with one or more individuals. Lovely questions. Oh, actually, let's have them stand up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
This is underrated question. Is there any form of internship opportunity or any job opportunity after what
If I can have you speak to the mic, and take your time. There's no rush.
Okay, let me repeat again. My name is Bashra Ashwaka, and I would like to know if there's any form of internship opportunities / job opportunities. Since I learned a variety of topics about how to manage the plant and then how to utilize the Jira documents and how long the training is for?
Yeah, really good question. So internships, opportunities, I would say be mindful of all your job fairs. Go to every single one of them. If you see a company that you like, register for their career website, so that way you get notifications whether there are internships available. Typically, companies will do rotational internships. So they'll say, hey, we're going to have a bunch of interns at the beginning of Q1 2026. Great. You want to make sure that you're onboarding, you're knowledgeable about that you've registered for their career website, and that you've registered for notifications. Being mindful of job fairs, NEIU does a really good job of being transparent on job fairs that are happening within the area. And lastly, networking. Right now, you guys have a great opportunity to network with me, someone who's already in the fintech space, who has already handled onboarding for interns and things along those lines. So each one of you is more than welcome to follow me on LinkedIn. And Fidel Guzman, MBA, I can also give you my contact details afterwards. But long story short, job fairs, log into register to career websites, and then also network. Network is going to be your best friend.
And how long the internship, like the training process, where we get to learn like the Jira and the rest of the training process go?
So what does the amount of training that's needed in order for you to do your job really look like? It differs based on your role. For me, our sales guys, we would give them 90 days to start to sell something. For our client care representatives, we would give them a month before we started giving them live client calls. For our product teams, it would be almost a year before they start building features and functionality of their own. So it's really based on the role that you're looking for, but that's a really great interview for you to keep in the back of your pocket when you're in that space to say, great, what are the expectations for me in this role? When am I going to be in front of clients? When am I going to be handling tickets? When am I going to be starting to create things within the system? That also shows a little bit of your eagerness and willingness to start to contribute to the company.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, great question. All right, I see a very friendly face coming up.
Hi, Fidel. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, you got it.
You mentioned in the RACI matrix that early on in your career you were hesitant to share that with your team. Has that changed? And then is that like a fluid document that changes after you share it with the stakeholders, the people who are informed in the different levels where they give you feedback to say, no, I actually want to be a decision maker on this project, or how does that?
Yeah, no, that's really good. So I would use it for my alignment calls with the teams. So, hey guys, we're launching this project. Here's what I have so far on this RACI matrix. How does everyone feel about this? And that's when we would handle objections. We would make sure to clarify what the roles and responsibilities are, on who should be consultant, on who should be informed. It is going to be a very fluid project. It'll be a very fluid matrix. But I wouldn't bring it up for every single call. It's just like, great, here's our alignment call, here's what I got so far. Let's make sure we're all on the same page, that we all have a chance to be heard. Afterwards, we'll make sure we lock this matrix down. If anything happens, someone gets sick, someone gets married, someone has a baby, great. Let's revisit this RACI matrix as a team. Here is maybe a tentative RACI matrix that I provided. I'll get approvals or objections or anything like that. But that's a really good note. It should be a fluid matrix depending on what happens, because life does happen. All right. So with that in place, we're going to get into our one more question. All right. Yeah, go for it. I think a bit closer to the mic, if you can.
So my question is, regarding students who have never led like a project before, what is one skill that you would recommend or highly suggest that they work on or expand or continue to build?
Communication. Communication is going to be key. It's going to be, I think, communication and confidence. Sometimes being weary of throwing something on someone's calendar. Just do it. Just do the thing. Someone can't make it, that's perfectly fine. But your role as a project manager is going to be able to communicate what the goal of the project is and to communicate updates along the way. Being confident with your voice, your personality, with who you are, What I've seen a lot of project managers do is they shy away from either a good challenge or they shy away from showcasing their skills and their expertise. You're a project manager for a reason. Let's say it's a school project, right? And you're trying to take the lead on it. You should be very confident enough to say, hey, do you guys mind if I take the lead on this? Does anybody else want to cooperate? Does anybody else have any responses or any comments that they'd like to provide? But I think for this, communication is key, not only to the people that you're going to be working with, but also to your stakeholders and how you represent that.
Thank you. I have another quick one.
Yeah.
What's like one with your work experience and the jobs that you face and tasks and people that you interact with on a day-to-day basis? What's one of the biggest challenges that you face, and how do you tackle it or resolve it? Like a challenge or hardship or things that you face and work around.
Right now, the biggest challenge that I face as a global manager of internal training, it's cultural awareness. So, for example, if I'm working with someone in Asia or in Europe or someone in Mexico, just being conscious of how they like to be treated and the level of communication that they need. For example, some of my folks in Asia, just give me the task, right? Let me know what needs to be done, I'll do it. Some of my folks in Mexico, they like to build a little rapport first. They like to see how you're doing, they like to know how the family's doing. Great, now let's talk brass tactics. For my folks in Europe, they're to the point. What needs to be done? How do we do it? How do we get to it? So that certain level of cultural awareness, I think, is the biggest challenge for me on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes I even have to take a look and see, wait, who do I have this meeting with? Who am I talking to? What does our rapport look like? And how can I make sure that they're leaning into whatever I'm asking from them or whatever they're asking from me? Yeah, so cultural awareness, and I think NEIU provides you a great space, a great community to be able to work with people across multiple cultures. This right here, this audience right here, is a really good representation of a global community that we have. So take advantage of all the opportunities and interactions that you have in the classroom. Take advantage of them, because right now this is a global marketplace. So being able to communicate effectively across all of your peers and all of your colleagues is going to be really important, and it's really going to showcase your versatility. Thank you. Really great question. Thanks. All right, let's keep this going. So thank you for all the questions. Now we're going to get into the discussion portion. Let's see if I can get this working. Maybe.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe not.
Should be good. There we go.
All right. So I mentioned this is interactive. Thank you for all those questions. They really help plant the seed for the next couple activities that we're going to have. And I do want this to be interactive. I want to see what your critical thinking skills are. I want you to tell me what you would do in some of these project management situations, what you think would work well. And based on that, we'll have a discussion. We'll provide feedback. So the themes to highlight here is role identification and risk assessment. How well are you identifying the people that you're working with? And how well are you identifying risks? How well are you asking the tough questions of measuring success within each of these projects? And also, what does teamwork and your structured approach look like? I'm going to throw some questions up here. I'm going to give you some scenarios, I'm going to throw some questions. You are more than welcome to use ChatGPT, AI Copilot, doesn't matter, right? As a learning and development representative, I promote people to use the tools that are given to you. I showed you tools earlier, Jira, Confluence, right? These are tools that you can use. Now, as I give you these scenarios, and as I ask for responses, you can use ChatGPT like I mentioned, that's perfectly fine. Find an answer that resonates with you, think critically about it, and then have the confidence to come up to the mic, all right? Fair enough for everybody? Yeah, can I get a go Eagles?
Go Eagles!
All right, that's good. Good, all right, let's take a look at our case studies here. So we're gonna take a look at 3. And for each of these, I'm gonna give you 3 questions. The first one is gonna be a global CRM rollout. So we're rolling out a new CRM system, but this project requires a bit of coordination between sales and product to make sure that the clients are happy and that they're engaged. The second case study that we're going to have is a client onboarding automation. We sell a product. If we sell it to a client, we want to make sure we onboard them. But the onboarding process takes a bit of time. We want to automate that. We want to automate that process so that way it's more efficient, customer experience is great. And then something close to my heart, cross-departmental training. We're launching a training program across departments to foster skills, but we need that team buy-in. So 3 different case studies. The challenges that you'll face are going to require planning, they're going to require stakeholder alignment, and effective communication for success. So we'll take a look at our first case study here, which was the CRM rollout. So here, the problem that we have is conflicting priorities. Sales and products are facing misaligned timelines and unclear deliverables due to competing priorities for that new CRM rollout. Sales was promising the CRM rollout to all the clients for Q4 of 2025. By the looks of it, they probably missed that deadline. Clients are asking, hey, what's up with this new CRM? Product says, hey, we had to shift our focus. There were a lot of bugs that people found in the system. We can't roll out something new if there's a bunch of issues that we have to fix. So the first discussion question that I have for all of you is what challenges arise when sales and product teams have competing priorities? Give it some thought. Use your AI agents to help you come up with some answers. Find a good answer and come up to the mic when you're ready. What challenges arise when sales and product teams have competing priorities? I'll give you one. I'll give you one just to get those brain juices flowing. Misalignment on customer needs and product vision. I mentioned sales. What's their primary goal? They're trying to sell something, right? And what's the sparkly new thing that they're trying to sell? They're trying to sell this new CRM. Hey, yeah, here's this new CRM. You're going to love it. Customer buys it. It's Q4 2025. The new CRM isn't rolled out. And then, again, right, product says there's a bunch of bugs in the system. How do you expect us to roll out something new when we have so much to fix? So misaligned customer needs and product vision. I think we have a person. Yeah, go ahead. Let's give her a round of applause for being our first. Yeah, so tell us, what challenges can arise when sales and product teams have competing priorities?
Things that came up to my mind without using ChatGPT or AI agents.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Was one, they're gonna move the priorities from the core focus and the thing they're like working towards, just like you said. And the other, I feel like they're gonna compromise on value. The value they work towards like providing to customers, they're gonna compromise that. So those are the 2 things.
No, that's really great. And if I can elaborate a bit more on that, right? Prioritization conflicts. What's going on? What are we prioritizing first? Are we prioritizing selling this new thing, or are we prioritizing selling what our product already does?
Yeah.
And then versus product, which was the bugs versus the new rollout.
I think they both are gonna be prioritizing their values, and it's gonna go like different tracks than just like working on a single project.
So as a project manager, you have to have a little bit of empathy for both of these individuals. Sales is trying to sell, product is trying to fix stuff, right? So your role as a project manager would be like, okay, great, how do we align both of our visions to make sure that, number one, we keep our new customers happy, and number two, that our existing customers have a chance to check out the new rollout, but also the bugs are being fixed in the system. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Great. All right. Let's give one more person an opportunity to come up and give us an idea of what challenges can arise when sales and product teams have competing priorities.
I guess one of the major challenges, because you said customers' demand are not met, so it's the trust that customer have on the company is the most major thing that will be impacted after that. Also, when 2 teams are conflicting with each other, so like the team cannot communicate well. So the timelines and the actual things that they need to work on, they are spending time more on arguments rather than on working on good things. So I think that's the major two things I think that will be.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also the position that these people are in. Imagine that sales guy being so embarrassed that it's Q1 of 2026 and he promised this new client, this new CRM rollout. He has to face that client. Product doesn't have to face that client. Product's like, hey, I'm telling you, it's going to come out now Q2 of 2026, right? That salesperson has to go back and has to be in that position to tell them, like, hey, here's the truth, this is what we thought, that this was the actual case. So yeah, thank you very much.
Probably. Yeah.
All right, next question. How can shared tools improve transparency and accountability? The two key themes are there, transparency and accountability, but how can we expand on those? Again, right, use any tools that you have. Use your critical thinking skills. Any takers? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. To the mic.
Okay, for the accountability and the transparency, there is a metrics they can make who is responsible for what. Like it's called traceability metrics. I don't know, maybe that's the term they
Clear
use.
ownership.
Yeah, so everybody knows what they are accountable for. So when the sheet or whatever the metrics they have, so nobody will be blame shifting to anybody. So everybody is accountable for their own work doing and whatever the thing is. I guess.
Very nice, very nice. Clear ownership, which echoes back the RACI matrix, right? This person was accountable or responsible for this. What else? What else do we have here? How can shared tools improve transparency and accountability? All right, we have another brave guest. Let's give him a round of applause.
Having shared tools allows the collaboration between the product team and the sales team. If I'm the sales guy, and I can see 1 year in advance what is on the product team's docket, I can think to myself, hey, I can start selling this and managing those expectations now. If I'm on the product team, I can better communicate with sales, hey, this is why it's not done. We said it wouldn't be done yet. So that's one way that shared tools can really help that transparency and accountability.
Good, yeah, really, really great. Real-time visibility. If we have this shared platform where information is being provided, I'm gonna know what the product roadmap actually looks like. But it's also up to each individual to open up those channels of communication. Sales should have confirmed with the product team. Hey, is this gonna be rolled out, Q4 of 2025? No, it's not. Okay, well, I'll set the right expectations, really great term. I'm gonna set the right expectations with this client that this is definitely on the roadmap, but it can be a little bit of time before it's actually rolled out. Great. All right, last question for this case study, then we'll move on to the next. What role does project management play in aligning technical and business goals? I highlighted this a couple times in the session, but we'll see if somebody can articulate a response. Next time I'm going to have some Jeopardy music up here for you guys. What role does project management play in aligning technical and business goals? If I can have this young gentleman go up and go to the mic. Good. Round of applause for him.
Okay, I think a project manager must have the ability to show his empathy and the communication between the two field to come with the MVP, like most valuable products.
Communication and alignment. How well am I going to be able to communicate what this project is, the status of this project, and how well am I going to align that with the needs of the business and the responsibilities of everyone in that team? Communication and alignment. Great response. Let's see if I can get one more fearless audience member to give a response here. All right, round of applause. We got another.
Hi, like you were saying, it's about all these different groups are focusing on what they have to do. So it's the project manager who's supposed to bring them together. And also, sometimes people, you have to have a chain of command, because there's times we believe their idea is best, and they want to go into their own thing, or there are individuals who don't act, so you have to have somebody who guide them and make sure they're following the right track.
Yeah, for sure. If you were to give me I'm gonna challenge you a little bit. If you were to give me a couple buzzwords on what you just said there, right? If I were to ask for two buzzwords for what you just mentioned, what would those be?
Chain of command.
Okay, chain of command. Okay, cool. I'll take chain of command. Good.
Clear leadership, or I'm sorry.
That's for sure. That's another way we can do it. Decision making. Decision making. Great. Awesome. Great job. I love it. Good. All right. So we're gonna keep things going. I think I'm good on time. But I think we got one or two more case studies we can do. So client onboarding automation. I'm at this global fintech company. We're selling this stuff like hotcakes, but it's taking us a lot of time to onboard new clients into this platform. The company is looking to automate this process. So we're looking to automate, to streamline what the onboarding look like, to enhance efficiency and customer experience, to minimize the amount of time it takes us to onboard, and also the amount of time it takes for a client to start to use this platform. As a project manager, you've been giving an initiative, but you've noticed that communication between departments is sparse. The first discussion question is, what role does tech play in bridging those communication gaps? I mentioned a couple tech tools earlier. I mentioned Jira, I mentioned Confluence. What role do these tools play in bridging these communication gaps? And a lot of the terms that have been mentioned are going to be echoed a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because those are themes for project management. Fearless volunteer, a round of applause. Good, thank you.
So as an intern, right now I'm working in Metropolitan Family Services, and for our communication gaps, for our generally communication, we are using Jira and Confluence and also some other stuff like Slack and this kind of thing. So these platforms really communicate with all organization, and whenever they are posting something in Jira or they are creating a space in Jira, so it's just not for one part of the department, it's the whole department that they can see whatever is happening over there. So it's like something that we are all can see. So tech can play a really good. I'm sorry.
That was great. You were on a roll.
Yeah.
Real-time updates. What's going on real time across this particular project? How can we take a look at that? You said centralized platforms too. You mentioned, hey, everyone's going to have access to this. So a central location to be able to take a look at all this data and the real-time updates. What's going on? If somebody just told us that they found another bug, hey, guess what? Now the people who are within that system can get a notification that this has been encountered.
Yeah, and I also can add on that too, that we are also using the Zoom meeting app, which is there is a team, there's a chat, which we can whatever happens in the group, we can see everybody can see that. So it's also a part of technology.
Good. Thank you very much. I appreciate your response. All right, we're going to keep things moving because I think I'm running up on time. But next question: what are other benefits you can think of for automating client onboarding? I already talked. Go ahead. If I can have you come onto the mic, please. Round of applause for this gentleman, please. And it does take a little bit of gusto to come up to this mic, so I pay lots of kudos to all of you who took the courage to come up here. Go ahead.
Thank you. Once you have started working on your onboarding system, you can start using that as a sales point for future customers. Oh, now we have the sufficient way to onboard people, so now you can pitch it to new customers. And once you sign on, we have this great system that gets you started in a couple weeks, whatever.
You hit it right on the head. Faster time to value. Hey, we have this automated onboarding process. You're going to be able to start using the system within a week. That's really going to allow you to ramp up what that sales process looks like, and also the value that you're bringing based on the stuff that you're automating, but also the bottom line, revenue, right? We're not wasting your time, we're not wasting our time, we're making sure that the time is used most valuably across everyone that's a stakeholder within this particular onboarding. Good. Any other ideas while I have you?
You can start using it to improve efficiency in other projects.
Efficiency, scalability, yes, yeah, consistency, standardization. We can standardize what this process is going to look like across all clients. Whether we have a client in the next month, the next year, we already have an automated onboarding process that we can leverage to speed up this time that it takes for a client to start using our platform and for it to start being sticky and for them to start using it. Good, thank you very much. Let's keep going to the next question. How would you promote better communication between departments? This is a common problem that you're going to have a lot. Does anyone have any ideas? How would you promote better communication between departments? If I can have you come up to the mic, please. Good. Another round of applause for this young lady.
Something that I think and I've heard companies do to bridge that gap is they do networking events, they do lunches and vacations for different departments together, so they have that ice breaking. And once they have that, they're better able to communicate and collaborate together in workspace.
Yeah, have some fun within the work environment that you are. Interesting enough, like a Christmas party, right? How do we bring people together? How do we have them do some internal networking to get a chance to know what everybody's roles and responsibilities are? So that way when that project comes time, hey, I actually already know Bob in sales. I actually already know Chris in client care. And you already have that level of rapport so that when it comes time for that project, everyone already knows who everyone is, and then you can speed up what that time to the project completion looks like.
And just celebrating a success of a project, just cutting a cake or celebrating with the lunch in office and in workspace.
Absolutely. I kind of want to dig into that a little bit more. Small wins matter. Yeah. Even for you all as students, that quiz, that assignment, that's a small win. Have that be a way that you can leverage that momentum to say, yeah, I knocked that quiz out of the park. Let's get the next one. Yeah, I finished that assignment. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, I finished this class. On to the next one. I finished my first year. On to the next one. Small wins matter, and a great way to maintain momentum. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great. Let's do one more case study here. This one we'll do cross-departmental training. So another one with conflicting priorities. You're about to launch a week-long public speaking training program across departments to foster skills development, but you're not getting the buy-in from managers of every department. Learning and Development has spent a lot of time curating this week-long public speaking training program for over 3 months. So they've been spending a lot of resources on curating this. However, managers and employees are on a tight time constraint and do not have the bandwidth to attend every day. First question is, first of all, why do you think public speaking is important in the workplace? All right, let's give this gentleman another round of applause, please.
Every meeting that a business decides to have costs money. It costs per employee the amount of money that employee makes per hour. If you cannot communicate effectively, you are wasting people's time and you are wasting the company's money. Being able to publicly speak and be able to get your message across clearly and concisely is one of the most important skills that you can have as a business manager.
Very nice. Thank you very much. So, go ahead. Yeah. Thank you.
I believe it doesn't matter how indirect or direct communication. It's all about knowing your strengths and weaknesses and be more vulnerable to express yourself and there's like for example, if I didn't know particular task that I have to complete, I would show some tenacity by asking like what to do, and I would want to ask, hey, how do I do A, B, and C in this particular task? And I would keep on have some sort of touch on, and they will improve me on the particular task, and that's how I would effectively complete the task by communicating.
Being confident, asking tough questions, being confident, asking for follow-ups, being confident, speaking your own feedback and comments and concerns. That is one of the biggest obstacles that you'll have, is just having your voice be heard. I'm going to show a slide here at the end. Thank you very much. I appreciate that response. But yeah, public speaking, improving communication, building confidence within your own skin, within your own space, enhancing your leadership presence, having a career growth, and client and stakeholder engagement. Now, the one challenge that I have for all of you is, I'll make it a challenge. I'm going to be having a public speaking workshop on November 6th, and it's called The Power of Your Words. I encourage and challenge all of you to get there, and this public speaking workshop is going to focus on storytelling and the power of telling powerful stories, and how you can use that skill within the classroom, within the boardroom, to really make your message and your point across when you're telling a story. Really great sales technique as well. I'm going to be conscious of time. The last thing I wanted to do is just open up for Q&A, and I want to thank all of you for having those questions earlier, for being able to answer those discussion questions. So now I'll open it up, and I'll be in the hot seat for a little bit. So what questions do you all have for me? Speechless. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you for coming today. Thank you for sharing your talk with us.
Absolutely.
My question is, in your day-to-day work, what's your the biggest failure that you encounter in your life in terms of project management and something like that? And after that, if that's experience, what step do you, or how many steps do you choose? And you say, I cannot make this mistake or have this failure in my life.
Yeah. Oh man, that's really tough. My biggest failure one time was not completing a project, and I lost a lot of credibility when that happened. Because I started ramping things up, I pulled people in, I set responsibilities, I created momentum, but then our company went through a merger, and people kind of lost focus. They were more concerned about other things. What's going on with this merger? Am I going to have my job? And I succumbed to those fears and those concerns. Am I still going to have my job? What is this merger going to look like? What does that mean to the company culture? So I kind of left that to the wayside. And looking back on it, that was my biggest failure, is not completing that project. But since then, I have taken on multiple international projects. The most recent one this year is I held international sales enablement workshops across Hong Kong, London, and New York. So learn from those mistakes, accept those failures, and make striving improvements towards the next challenges that you have. Thank you. That was a really great question. Pause here for another moment, see if there's another question. Go ahead.
Rakesh.
As in your starting career, when you are gaining experience and everything, sometimes people offer a designation or a certificate, but not the monetary value for the work you are doing for them. So how can you convince them to it's also needed. It's not something we are doing only for the monetary value, but to do day-to-day work and to like go on in the daily life, we need that too. So yes, title and experience and the certificate does matter, but also the monetary value as well. So how can you convince them without offending them that everything matters too?
Really great. I appreciate that, especially from a career development standpoint, when you're in a job interview and you have all these accolades and all these certificates. I'm going to go back to my sales background, and it's really, how are you selling those skills and that value? And can you tell a story around how those skills and that certificate and that experience and that knowledge help you complete a project, help you increase revenue at a company? So how can you tell a very remarkable story around that skill? And also, how can you quantify that value? So for example, I can say, hey, you know what, I led a team of 6 at T-Mobile when I was in my early 20s. Okay, and what? Or, hey, you know what, when I started my job in retail sales, I was given a team of 6, and in the first 2 quarters, we hit $1 million in retail sales, right? That shows a beginning, a middle, and an end. So I would say, definitely put your selling hat on and sell yourself and tell a remarkable story around that skill. Okay. All right, I'm going to be mindful of time. I have just one more thing for all of you. I mentioned I'm going to be hosting a public speaking workshop on November 6th. If you can attend, there's a QR code if you can scan it. If not, you can talk to me over there in the back. But I'm going to be hosting this public speaking workshop. It's going to focus on storytelling. We'll sprinkle a little bit of sales methodologies and best practices there, but also to give all of you a chance to really practice these skills now. So when you start to really get into the marketplace, really start to get in positions of power, you have the confidence behind you to speak to your words. The last thing that I'll leave all of you with is that there are as many stories of triumph as there are stars in the night sky. The next time you're looking up at that night sky, choose your star. Choose your story of triumph. Thank you.
I love that.